The earth was frozen, the men encircled, the idea of surrender frozen deeper still. He stared through glass and saw the impossible gathering over the horizon.
They came not with bombs, but with the breath of survival.
For a moment, men who had forgotten heaven remembered its color.
Each color meant life, ammunition, medicine, food, hope. They realized the siege was no longer of men, but of disbelief.
Over here. Coordinates are Baker 9.
Organization thrived where everything else had fallen apart.
Chocolate and morphine! We are saved!
Joy sounded like wood breaking open to reveal chocolate and morphine. Even hatred paused to witness the symmetry of salvation. What artillery could not deliver, endurance had summoned. Defeat had begun speaking in unfamiliar tones, quiet, factual, undeniable.
Supplies inbound. Hold every line.
Authority softened into reassurance. Obedience became faith.
The smallest comforts weighed more than all the iron of the Reich.
My God.
Narrator belief returned to him, but not in the form he expected.
A white wound stitched closed by color.
War had taken everything, except the instinct to share.
Airborne, hold. The weather is yours again.
Heaven had been grounded for days. Now it was cleared for mercy.
Numbers turned from strategy into prophecy. Winter's cruelty could not outnumber courage anymore.
Hands that once shook from cold now shook from gratitude.
They understood then. The Americans would not starve, and they would not surrender.
Drop now.
Technology obeyed conviction, not weather.
Each crate fell like a promise kept. Faith wore khaki and smelled of engine oil.
It is finished for us.
He had never before seen hope deployed as ordnance. Sound returned to the city like spring, thawing through a song. Even the landscape bent to the weight of defiance.
We're back on the air.
Every syllable carried the warmth of 10,000 miles away.
The 101st still resists.
A sentence delivered without emotion, heavy with awe.
To whoever receives this, keep faith.
command. Bastogne stands.
The 101st will never surrender.
In that admission lay the true mathematics of defeat.
The forest kept souvenirs of deliverance, a gallery of silk and frost-bound gratitude. The sky had brought blood for the living, and time for the dying to be heard.
Across the line, hunger wore a uniform of silence heavier than wool.
Hope learned to speak in numbers, then waited for wings to translate.
Even movement required negotiation with winter, a treaty signed in sweat. Strategy dissolved at the edges as weather and will redrew the lines.
Men invented ceremony from debris, because ceremony keeps the heart from freezing.
Gravity became a courier, faithful, tireless, indifferent to gunfire or pride.
Civilians gathered what heaven dropped, turning silk into quilts and memory.
Bullets wrote brief arguments against the inevitable, then surrendered to distance.
His prayer was pressure and presence, not words anyone could remember. Messages traveled the old way, slow as fear, brittle as ice.
Mercy crossed uniforms in the dark, a quiet contraband of conscience. The battlefield practiced its museum pose, rehearsing for the silence afterward.
Thanks, Pup. Warmth arrived smoky and bitter. A sermon preached without adjectives.
They served their machines with devotion, though the machines served nothing back.
Ink from far cities thawed them faster than any blanket ever could.
And tell him I miss him more than words can say. For a minute, Payne listened politely and waited in the hallway. He understood the code now, the grammar of colors spelling endurance. Courage moved with small sounds, because grand speeches froze too quickly.
War mixed necessities with mercy, and sometimes a small, stubborn song.
Certainty had to be manufactured daily, and the factory was failing. They dragged tomorrow behind them, refusing to leave it in the snow. The town learned new hymns, sung in silk and aviation fuel.
Night negotiated a fragile truce, signed by cold and caution.
Keep your eyes peeled, son. We'll get through this.
Leadership counted souls as carefully as ammunition, refusing any arithmetic of despair.
Childhood returned under guard, sneaking warmth past the siege lines. He prayed for endings without victors, a prayer the snow understood.
Even courage respected physics, and trusted persistence to finish the sentence.
Joy arrived on tiptoes, then slipped on the ice like everyone else.
The language of collapse learned to be precise, without adjectives or alibis.
The perimeter spoke with light, and the valley listened without argument. Miracles came inexpensive and small, but perfectly calibrated to need.
They could not afford envy, only the arithmetic of retreat.
Paper held what memory refused to drop, even when hands shook. Old muscle met new logistic, and both bowed to the weather.
Steel lacked appetite when the road itself refused to be eaten.
Reassurance doesn't shout. It returns, simply, until doubt grows tired.
Hospitality resurrected itself from ruins, a stubborn civilian miracle.
Loss moved softly, because grief had already done enough marching. Some defeats are accepted first by posture, then by pen, then by silence. Faith clung to dashboards and dog tags with equal patience.
The ground answered the sky, and the encirclement forgot its shape.
Resistance thinned into ritual, a choreograph of necessary departure.
Steel met stubbornness and recognized family at once.
We made it!
Gratitude spoke with gloves, louder than any parade ever could.
Rest lasted one breath long, then duty reclaimed the light.
He recorded the moment faith changed uniforms and crossed the wire.
A siege dies quietly, like a snare opening under a patient hand.
What endured was not victory's noise, but the memory of a sky that returned.